I almost want to say it's a shame that I'm hardly going to watch TNA anymore, because based off the spoilers, they're going back to their roots. The good old wacky, over-the-top, crazy TNA. Goofy characters, gimmick matches every week, screwy finishes, ripping off WWE, and swerves everywhere. The good old Vince Russo booking. This is a TNA that I like. In fact, I've been begging them to bring this TNA back for years. It's like now that Hogan and Bischoff are gone, TNA can finally be TNA again. All we need is a six-sided ring and we're good to go. So Magnus turned heel, won the world title, and joined Team Dixie. Still don't care any more about Magnus now than I did before, but I do love this new Team Dixie stable. Derek Bateman, Rockstar Spud, Ego is going to be joining in a few weeks. This is a stable filled with nothing but the most charismatic, entertaining wrestlers on the roster, and Magnus. I dig it. I mean, I don't like how Magnus is the champion right now instead of Derek Bateman. Bateman should be the leader of this group. Unless they're planning on turning him face by next year by turning on Magnus, then alright, that could work. I mean, it makes sense. He's related to Dixie Carter, yet it's Magnus who's getting the big push. That could be used as fuel for a face turn later. But if not, then hopefully things pick up once he has that big match with Sting coming up in a few weeks. Hopefully he can make him fake retire too. Now you don't even need spoilers to tell where this is heading. AJ Styles is going to come back, challenge Magnus, and lose the World Heavyweight title. And the big story is that AJ Styles is leaving TNA afterward. I don't buy it, but alright. This might be how they explain putting them in the Hall of Fame next year. They'll probably make a big storyline out of whether or not AJ is going to return for one more match at Bound for Glory. Either way, I think it's safe to say that we're going to see AJ in TNA again. And you know what, even if we don't, it's not like it's that big of a loss. You know, as much as TNA wants us to believe that he was the face of the company always ran just fine whether he was on TV or not. And honestly, I never bought this idea that AJ was the number one guy. He's always just been the backup plan when they have no one else to put there. You know, Dixie Carter was right. The phenomenal one, the face of TNA, was nothing but an illusion that she created. That's not the only fake retirement TNA is doing either. They're also doing it with Jeff Hardy, and at this rate they'll probably do it with Kurt Angle and Sting too. Again, another great Vince Russo trademark, overdoing work shoots and fake retirements. With Jeff Hardy, it's apparently just because he can't make the UK tours, so they gotta write him off. Honestly, I think Jeff Hardy should just come back to the WWE already. I don't even know if you can still use him to put over talent anymore. When was the last time that you ever thought to yourself, now that guy is the main eventer because he just beat Jeff Hardy? I don't remember ever thinking that during his entire TNA run, and for that reason alone, I don't think it's worth him staying. But on top of all of that, we're getting gimmick matches every week, both old and new, and this is one of the things I love about TNA. There's going to be a steel cage match practically every week. Monsters Ball came back. They debuted a Dixieland concept, which is another fun, Russo-rific idea. Hopefully King of the Mountain comes back. Maybe bring back Elevation X. Hell, bring everything back. Bring back Lats Rides, the Electric Cage, Reverse Battle Royals, the Knockout Lockbacks. You know, TNA had some fun concepts. Bring them all back, you know, at least for one time. Hell, make that your next one-night-only pay-per-view. Every match is some kind of wacky, weird TNA original gimmick. I'd order that. Feast or Fired came back. Awesome, love that stupid gimmick. It's a complete Money in the Bank ripoff, but you know what? It's still fun. My only problem here is that once again, Derek Bateman got screwed out the world title case, and they gave it to Gunner. Now Gunner's going to be feuding with James Storm for the case. Here's the thing, TNA already tried and failed at pushing Gunner in 2011, and at this point, I think it's too late for James Storm already. But I guess with AJ gone right now, they're going to need to try to ride the cowboy one more time and give him the push that he should have gotten last year, since they really don't have a top face of the company right now, or at least not one under 40. So I guess you really don't have that many other choices. I mean, you could have just gave this to Kennedy. I don't know why you had to take him out of that just to keep this pointless Bully Ray feud going. Kennedy could easily be one of your next top faces. That's one thing you guys really need right now. But aside from that, this Abyss angle is finally moving forward. They brought back Janice. I hated that thing back in 2010, but you know what? I still marked out. Just because, again, it's another great throwback to a time when TNA was consistently entertaining. Hell, I mean, I marked out for Pac-Man Jones a few weeks ago. Hell, at this point, I think I'd even mark out if Eric Young brought back Orlando Jordan in her creepy fairy costume. You know, anything that can take me back to the good old days of when TNA used to be fun. And it seems like they're doing a lot of that now. It is what TNA has been lacking for almost 3 years. Interesting characters, interesting concepts, fun. Now that we're starting to get back to that, you notice how much better the shows are? Let's see, according to these spoilers, Chris Sabin defeated Velvet Sky with a low blow to win the X-Division title back. Sounds a little odd, but alright. Apparently Velvet's a heel and Brooke's a face now. And that's all great and everything, but the only thing they can do in their current roles anyway is shake their asses, and they already do that either way, so what difference does it make? And I hate saying that because these are two of my favorites, but that's what TNA has reduced them to, just fat material. And with the current direction of the Knockouts, looks like that's all they're going to be until they finally leave the company. And that's really the only thing that isn't improving in TNA right now is the Knockout division. I do like that Madison Rayne came back, and I respect that she didn't give up on wrestling just because she's a mob now. And you can bash Madison all you want, but one thing you can't say is that she doesn't care about wrestling. Otherwise, she wouldn't be there right now. The only problem here is Fail Kim is the John Cena of TNA. So as much as I want Madison to be champion and as much as I want to care about her return, I can't, because I know for a fact where TNA's predictable booking is going. Everything's just going to come right back to Fail Kim again. Even if Madison Rayne does beat her for the title at some point, Fail's just going to squash her, take her off TV with the rest of the division, continue squashing more jobbers, then feud with Lady Tampon for the title. So we're in for at least another 6 months of Fail Kim and Lady Tampon squashing every other woman in wrestling. No other knockout is going to get a storyline or be pushed as long as Fail Kim and Lady Tampon are there. See, this isn't just me hating on Fail Kim. I hate what it's doing to everyone else, and I hate that I can't even care about anyone anymore because I know that nothing they do is going to matter as long as she's there. And it's gotten to the point where I think the only way that's going to change is if Fail Kim retires. I think that's the only way the division could finally move forward instead of in this revolving door of fail. And with Lady Tampon there, it's just going to get worse. The last thing the Knockouts needed was someone else that's going to come in and spend months squashing everyone. That's what put your division in the state it's in now. Building your division around one person squashing everyone when it should have been about building up several Knockouts at once. I guess TNA is just going to have to learn the hard way that wasting all this time isn't going to help anyone, not even the person that does beat Lady Tampon and Fail Kim, because by that point, everyone else is going to be a jobber already. And let me guess what your excuse is. Karma. Karma worked because you already had a strong division in the first place, and there were other feuds going on besides Karma squashing everyone. You can't do that anymore, and that's why it won't work this time. You're just continuing to kill the Knockouts, not just the division, but the brand. But that's really the only thing about TNA that sucks right now. I've been saying since last year, I want TNA to go back to the way it was 2007 to 2010, and that's what they're doing. And still doesn't make up for Bound for Glory, and I still plan to get my vengeance. But I will say that it was nice seeing the old TNA back. But that does it for me. My next TNA review won't be until, I think, about March. Just trying to keep my review streaks going. But anyway, this has been MTO with the MTO Mar review saying yada yada yada. Blah, blah, blah. Happy New Year.